you're doing it wrong. You can work hard all your life, stay up late, wake up early, and race nonstop, but still feel like you're running in place. Why? Because you're stuck in a system and don't know how to escape. You're working not because you're passionate, but because you have to. You spend your whole life working for money, but you never learn how to make money work for you. I used to think like you. I thought that if I just did my job well and kept improving, money would eventually come. But I realized something very simple. That was a lie. Looking at the world, I see the hardest working people, like street sweepers or night shift workers. They work tirelessly, yet money never stays with them. Why? Because they lack an understanding of money. They live in a vicious cycle, work harder, spend all they earn, and get stuck in a system they don't understand. I'm not saying you should stop working hard, but you need to recognize a truth. Not everyone who works hard becomes successful, and not everyone who works little fails. Successful people aren't those who work more, they are those who know how to use time and resources. Money doesn't care how many hours you work. Money only cares about what you do in those hours. I've seen people spend hundreds of hours each month, but their results are still poverty. They work hard, but don't know how to control cash flow, invest, or use resources efficiently. You could work 14 hours a day and still have nothing but exhaustion. You could make $1 million a month, but if you don't understand how to keep, grow, and invest that money, you're just living in a never-ending cycle of scarcity. The question is, do you want to break free? You can't continue living under the illusion that working hard is enough. You need to start understanding how money and personal finance work. You need to understand that money is not just something you earn and spend, but a tool to gain freedom and control over your life. What you need is not more work. What you need is the right financial mindset. Wealthy people don't spend more time working, they spend time learning how to manage money, grow wealth, and most importantly, they know how to invest in things that add value. They read financial reports, take investment courses, and use money to create more value. So do you really understand what money is doing for you? Have you ever stopped to think if the money you spent today will bring you closer to freedom or just weigh you down? When you don't understand money, money controls you instead of you controlling it. Money can tire you out, or it can be a powerful tool to help you build a better life. I don't want you to keep chasing things you don't need. You're wasting precious hours on work that doesn't create lasting value. I want you to stop, reassess everything, and ask yourself a very important question. Am I living with purpose, or am I just surviving to pay bills? Start today. Instead of blaming circumstances, your company, or anyone else. You must begin learning how to manage money, invest wisely, and change your financial mindset. Don't let yourself suffer any longer from not understanding how to manage finances. You need to realize that in this ever-changing world, no one can save you but yourself. If you don't understand how money works, no one can help you. You must wake up, dare to change your thinking about money and how to use it. If you still doubt, I can only say one thing. You will never achieve financial freedom if you don't change your perspective on money right now. The system is working against you, and you don't even realize it. Everything you think you're doing right is actually pushing you into a vicious cycle with no way out. All that you've done, staying up late, waking up early, working nonstop, is just keeping you stuck in a system you don't fully understand. You can work 18 hours a day but still not change your financial situation because you don't understand one basic thing. This system is not designed for you to succeed. You work hard, but you've never learned how to work smart. The system doesn't reward the hardest workers. It rewards those who know how to think intelligently. I'm not saying you should stop working. I just want you to recognize one truth. Labor is not everything. If you keep chasing this cycle, you're only working to survive, not to live. You'll never achieve financial freedom unless you change the way you work. You could work 12 hours a day, but if you don't understand how money works, you're just earning money for someone else and for the system you're working in. I know you're not lazy, you work hard, you do more than most others, but the results aren't showing. It's not because you're not doing enough, it's because you're trapped in a broken system. This system has no place for hard workers. It only has room for those who understand how to make money. If you're working hard and still have nothing to show for it, then the system is benefiting others, not you. Let me explain this. Money is not the problem. The money management system is. You could work your whole life and still not escape this trap. if you don't know how to make money work for you. This system is built to keep you in an endless cycle of working, spending, borrowing, and working more, and you, unknowingly, have become part of it. Think about this. The rich don't work harder than you, they just use their time and energy more intelligently. A wealthy person can spend just 30 minutes reading a financial report and make an investment decision that could bring them millions in a few months. Meanwhile, another person could work 3 jobs and still struggle to make ends meet, never escaping the cycle of doing more and earning less. It's not because they're lazy, it's not because they don't work hard enough, it's because they don't understand how money works and they can't control their cash flow. You will never break free from this cycle until you realize that working more is not the solution. The solution is working smarter. A 24-hour day may seem limited, but if you know how to use those hours effectively, you can create more value than any job could ever offer. And more importantly, you must understand that money is a tool, not a goal. If you continue to work just to make money, you will always feel like it's never enough. But if you learn how to make money work for you, you'll achieve financial freedom. I know you're tired, and maybe you feel like you're being left behind. But you're not alone. You just need to understand that this system isn't fair, and it will never create opportunities for you through hard work alone. You need to start changing the way you see money and work. You must start learning how to invest money rather than just working to earn it. You need to understand that money is not something you can control just through labor. You must learn how to use it to create value and build sustainable growth. This world is not fair, and neither is the financial system you're part of. But there's one thing I know for sure. If you begin to understand and master money, you will be able to escape this trap. Don't let yourself get caught in the cycle without understanding its principles. Start rethinking everything. Learn how to invest, learn how to manage money, and learn to use money as a tool to achieve real freedom. If you don't change right now, you'll continue running in a cycle where money always controls you instead of you controlling money. The question is, do you want to master money, or will you let it master you? Freedom starts with knowledge. You can spend your whole life working hard, but if you don't understand how money works, you'll only surround yourself with exhaustion and failure. When you don't know how to control money, you're giving it the power to control your life. And when money starts controlling you, you lose control of your life. That's an unavoidable truth. But I also know one thing. Financial knowledge is the only key to breaking all your limits. No one teaches you how to manage money. There's no one in school, no one in your family who truly shows you how to make money work for you instead of working your whole life just to pay off debt. You're taught to earn money, spend it wisely, find a stable job, buy a house, and live happily. But no one tells you that money is just a tool. And when you don't know how to use that tool properly, you'll always be led into a dead end. What matters is not how much money you earn, but how you manage your cash flow. If you only spend without reinvesting, you'll forever be trapped in the endless cycle of earning money, spending, borrowing, working more. That's a cycle that many never escape from. But if you change your perspective on money, if you learn how to make money work for you, then you will have the ability to create financial freedom for yourself. Remember one thing. Financial knowledge is not something distant only for experts or people who study at school. Financial knowledge starts with the simple decisions you make every day. How do you invest wisely? How do you save strategically? How do you understand your debts? That's the knowledge you need, and you can start today. No need to wait. I've been where you are. I used to work tirelessly, thinking I would get rich if I did my job well. But then I realized there's only one way to truly achieve financial freedom. Understand how to use money. Only when you know how to make money work for you can you escape the endless cycle of labor. Financial knowledge is not something complicated. You don't need to study dense theories or dream of becoming an investment expert. You don't need to work 18 hours a day just to pay off debt. You just need to know how to manage cash flow, learn how to invest in things of real value, and know how to use every penny wisely. Don't let ignorance about money become your biggest roadblock. You don't need to be a genius to master money. You just need to be patient, learn, and practice. Start by understanding your cash flow in life. Every income, every expense, every debt, all affect your financial freedom. If you don't start learning to manage all these, you'll forever be trapped in a trap. To truly be financially free, you must master what you have. That's why I want you to understand that you don't have to work for money your whole life. You need to know how to make money work for you, and that can only happen when you understand basic financial knowledge. Start with simple things. Learn how to read financial reports. Learn how to invest in mutual funds, stocks, or real estate. Learn how to manage spending and avoid debt. What you need is not more money, but how you use the money you already have effectively. Start by setting clear financial goals, learning to invest in yourself, and controlling spending. When you have this understanding, you'll start to see financial opportunities all around you. These opportunities don't come from working harder, they come from knowing how to find and seize them. Freedom starts with knowledge, and when you have knowledge, you have control. You will no longer work hard with no results. You will no longer live in debt or worry about the future. You will begin to understand that money is a tool, and you are the one in control. How you use money is how you shape your future. If you want true freedom, start learning how to manage money right now. Not to spend recklessly, but to build a stable, sustainable future. Financial knowledge is not just a choice, it is a requirement. You will never be free if you don't understand how to use money the right way. Being poor is not because you're dumb, but because you believe the wrong things. You can be smart, hardworking, and capable, but if you believe in the wrong mindset about money, you'll remain poor. This is not a coincidence, but an undeniable truth. I'm not saying you don't work enough or lack the ability. I just want you to realize something very simple. Being poor is not your fault, but if you don't change the way you think about money, it will become the trap you've locked yourself in. The reason you're poor is not because you're lacking ability or talent, but because you believe in false beliefs about money. You were taught that to succeed, you need to work harder than others, earn more money, and spend less. But the truth is, money doesn't naturally come from hard work. It comes from how you understand and manage it. If you believe that only hard work brings money, you'll work tirelessly your whole life without ever achieving financial freedom. Poor people often work harder than rich people, but they don't know how to create real value. That's why they remain poor. If you still believe these false beliefs, you'll forever live in scarcity. Rich people don't work harder than you, they just know how to use their time and resources more intelligently. They understand that money is a tool. They know how to invest, manage cash flow, and create value. They understand that wealth is not about working more, but about making money work for you. They're not afraid of money. They know how to create it, and more importantly, they know how to maintain and grow it. Stop and ask yourself, do you really understand how money works? Or do you just work because you believe money will come if you work long enough and hard enough? Don't make the mistake of poor people, thinking that only hard labor brings success. No, success doesn't come from hard labor. It comes from knowledge and the right strategy. That's why I want you to realize that poverty isn't the result of not enough effort, but the lack of financial knowledge. Being poor because of wrong beliefs can be a trap you create for yourself without even realizing it. You believe that the important thing is working hard, but in reality, there's not enough time in a day to work too much. Moreover, overworking won't solve your financial problems. You need to spend time learning how to work smart, not just work hard. When you understand how to manage money, money will start working for you instead of you always chasing it. I want you to understand one very important thing. What you need is not more money, but how you think about money. If you don't change your perspective on money, you'll never escape the trap of poverty. You may earn more money, work harder, but if you don't know how to manage money, you'll always feel like you're living in scarcity. Money is not what will make you happy if you don't know how to use it. It's a tool to create freedom, but only when you understand and know how to use it properly. Don't let false beliefs about money hold you back. Don't let yourself be stuck in the cycle of working hard and spending it all. Realize that to escape poverty, you need to learn how to use money more intelligently. Understand that hard labor alone won't bring you success. If you don't change your mindset, you'll never achieve financial freedom. Financial freedom doesn't come from working 16 hours a day without a strategy. It comes from understanding and controlling cash flow. That's why I want you to change the way you see money and life. Don't let ignorance and false beliefs about money block your path. You can change everything today, starting by learning how to make money work for you. Being poor is not because you're dumb, but because you believe the wrong things about money. When you understand money correctly, you'll realize that wealth doesn't come from hard work, but from knowing how to manage and invest money. Don't continue making the mistake, and don't let false beliefs about money continue to control your life. You can change now, and the change starts with financial knowledge. Don't share your finances with the world. Money is not something you need to flaunt, not something you need to show off in front of others to gain recognition. In fact, one of the biggest mistakes you can make is oversharing your personal finances. This isn't just about revealing how much money you have to someone. The real issue lies in how this display can destroy your financial freedom. When you let people know too much about your finances, you're not only opening the door to judgment, but also creating unnecessary risks. Don't think that showing off your wealth will make people admire you. In reality, the more you flaunt, the more likely you are to attract jealousy, and sometimes even manipulation. When you let people know how much money you have, you're creating an opportunity for them to find ways to infiltrate your financial world. Think about this. Truly wealthy people never boast. They don't need to prove anything. They know that money isn't the most important thing. It's the real value they create and how they use money to maintain their lifestyle. The truly rich build their wealth quietly, without flaunting it or needing external recognition. They don't have to prove their success to anyone. And that's one of the reasons they're wealthy, because they understand that silence is strength. Flaunting your finances doesn't just make you vulnerable psychologically, it also makes you easy to exploit, especially in today's society where seeing someone successful can make others feel envious. You could be asked to lend money or even get caught in unnecessary debt. No one wants to explain their finances or deal with unnecessary demands from others. Once you let people know how much money you have, you're not just sharing the money, you're sharing insecurity and pressure. To truly protect your wealth, you must learn how to guard it. This involves not just financial security, but mental protection as well. When you live quietly about your finances, you preserve your peace and avoid unnecessary disturbances. You don't need to prove who you are. You don't need to validate yourself. You just need to work, invest, and grow your wealth in silence, and everything will naturally generate returns. Silence about finances also protects you from negative external influences. You don't need to share everything about your financial situation. You don't need to tell others how much money is in your bank account, where you invest, or how many assets you own. Finances are personal, and you have the right to maintain privacy. People around you don't need to know how much you earn or how much you spend, and in fact, they have no right to know. When you keep your finances quiet, you also maintain control. You don't need to be swayed by outside opinions. Truly wealthy people don't care about judgment from others. They are clear about their value and don't need to display it. This silence helps them focus on long-term goals and build wealth without distraction from meaningless things. Look at the most successful people in history. They never flaunted their finances. People like Warren Buffett, Elon Musk, and Mark Zuckerberg, they didn't show off their wealth. Instead, they created real value, developing companies and products that had lasting impacts on the world. They didn't need to boast or prove anything, and that's why they're successful. They understand that money is just a tool, and only those who truly understand how to use money can create lasting wealth. So if you want financial success, stop sharing your finances with the world. Be silent, work hard, invest smartly, and let the results speak for themselves. Truly successful people don't need to prove anything. They simply need patience, focus, and not to be distracted by rumors and judgments. If you understand this, you'll start to see the power of silence and how it protects your wealth and freedom. Choose who you listen to. In this world, not all advice is valuable. Everyone has opinions about money, investing, and how to live, but you need to be alert and recognize that advice from people who don't have real results will only pull you down. You can't blindly believe everything others say. Advice from those who don't understand finances will only lead you astray. What you need is not empty words, but practical knowledge and experience proven by real results. If you truly want financial success, you must learn how to pick who you listen to. When you listen to someone, ask yourself, do they have the results I want? Have they faced the challenges I'm dealing with and overcome them? If the answer is no, don't let their advice influence you. Choose people with real results, those who have proven their capabilities through actions, not words. You may hear many people advising you to do this or that, but the truth is, they know nothing about the path you're on. They're judging from the outside without understanding the bigger picture. Meanwhile, truly financially successful people are often quiet. They don't need to prove anything. They just work quietly, invest, and create value. They know how to make money work for them, and that's why they can create results that others only dream of. Don't let advice from the uninformed control you. If the person you're listening to has never achieved financial success, they have no authority to teach you how to get rich. Think carefully before taking advice from someone. Do they really have the results you want? Do they live the life you want to live? If not, you're just wasting your time. You need to find people who have proven through results that they know how to create value and build sustainable financial success. When you seek advice, don't just look at the words. Look at their actual results. Truly successful people don't flaunt their finances. They don't need to tell you about their financial decisions. You just need to look at their life. They live financially free, not because of luck, but because they know how to manage money and invest wisely. These are the people you need to listen to, because they will guide you in the right direction. Never listen to advice from those without results. If they only talk theory and can't prove it with real results, don't let them guide you. They may speak well, but if they don't truly understand finances, they will only give advice that pulls you further from your goals. You need to listen to people who truly understand money management, investing, and building wealth. These people don't just talk about money, they know how to make money, how to invest, how to build careers and sustainable assets. Seek people with real results. Seek those who not only talk about how to get rich, but have actually done it. Look for those who not only talk about investing, but have built financial empires. These people don't need to show off, because their results speak for themselves. When you learn from them, you'll learn how to create real value, not just empty words. So how do you know who to listen to? The answer is simple. Look at their results. If they don't have the results you want, don't let them guide you. Only listen to those who have real results, who have overcome challenges, and who can prove their success through actions, not just words. They will teach you how to truly control your finances, rather than just teach you empty theory. Advice isn't always valuable. You need to learn how to distinguish between valuable advice and meaningless advice. People without real experience have nothing to teach you. Listen to those who have walked the path you're on, those who have achieved what you dream of. They will provide you with practical strategies and real lessons you can immediately apply to change your life. And when you start following them, you'll see a dramatic shift in how you manage your finances and in the results you achieve. Remember, real results are the only measure of success, not words, not theory. When you listen to those who have succeeded, you'll learn how to head in the right direction and achieve the financial freedom you've always wanted. Controlling your spending desires is one of the most important steps to achieving financial freedom. You will never reach this if you don't learn how to restrain yourself when facing short-term temptations. In today's society, everything is designed to make you spend money immediately. Advertisements, shopping invitations, the allure of a lavish lifestyle, these things make you feel that spending is the way to feel happy, to prove your worth. But in reality, every time you spend money without control, you are moving further from your financial goals. I'm not saying you shouldn't spend money. You have every right to enjoy what you earn, but you need to do it with planning and strategy. The desire to spend is one of the biggest reasons most people never escape financial struggles. You can earn a lot of money, but if you don't learn to control your spending desires, you will continue to live in scarcity and anxiety, regardless of how much you earn. One of the biggest mistakes I see many people make is spending first and thinking about saving or investing later. They buy because they feel they need new things. They spend money on immediate experiences without considering the long term. The truth is, every time you spend without thinking carefully, you're sacrificing future financial opportunities. If you can't control yourself, you will always feel like your money isn't enough, no matter how much you earn. Therefore, the first lesson is you must always earn money first, then spend. This isn't something I'm just saying. It's a truly effective strategy that helps you develop sustainable finances. Once you've earned money, you must set clear goals for that money. Set up a savings and investment fund before deciding to spend on anything. Saving and investing should be your top priorities. Spending should be the last thing you think about. You can satisfy consumer needs, but only after you've built a solid financial foundation. Remember, spending immediately only takes you further from financial freedom. It's important to understand that money is not something you can spend recklessly. Every dollar you spend is a decision that impacts your future. You must learn to distinguish between real needs and temporary desires. Many people fall into the trap of these desires. You might feel immediate satisfaction when buying something new, but right after, that feeling fades, and you continue searching for the next thing to satisfy yourself. This not only wastes your money, but also traps you in a cycle of dissatisfaction. Ask yourself, do I really need this? When you make a spending decision, remember that controlling your spending isn't just about stopping unnecessary purchases. It's about learning to manage your emotions. You can't let emotions dictate your financial behavior. I've seen many people earn millions but end up living in debt because they couldn't control the urge to spend immediately. That's why controlling spending desires is an essential skill if you want to maintain sustainable finances and achieve financial freedom. One thing I want you to understand clearly: money can be a tool to help you achieve everything, but only when you know how to use it wisely and patiently. Don't let the need to shop, to prove something to others, control you. Don't get caught in the social race where spending is always seen as a success standard. In reality, those who are truly financially successful are the ones who don't chase short-term temptations. They know that financial freedom doesn't come from having many possessions, but from being able to control money and use it properly. Remember, true wealth comes from patience and financial discipline. You must manage your money like a business, not just as an individual spending impulsively. And to do that, you need to develop the ability to control your spending desires. This is the first step in building a solid financial foundation and achieving the financial freedom you want. Don't let short-term temptations make you lose out on great opportunities. Focus on your long-term goals, learn how to control your spending, and you'll see that financial freedom is not far away. It's the result of small decisions made every day. The more you learn to restrain yourself, the easier it becomes to achieve the financial freedom you've always dreamed of. Investing is not for the impatient. This is a principle I have always followed throughout my financial journey. When you start thinking about investing, don't let yourself be swept away by the rush of urgency. Investing is not a race to see who gets to the finish line first, but a long-term game where patience and thorough preparation are the deciding factors for success. If you're impatient, you will never have enough time to analyze, evaluate, and truly understand the real investment opportunities. I know many people, when starting out, want to find quick investment opportunities, hoping to get rich instantly. But the truth is, speed is not the most important factor when investing. When you jump into an investment opportunity without truly understanding it, you're only seeing the tip of the iceberg, without recognizing the danger beneath. Investing is a process that takes time to learn, experiment, and adjust. You must be patient, well prepared, and always remember that sustainable profits never come from hasty decisions. I have met many people who wanted to invest in stocks, real estate, or even cryptocurrency just because they saw others doing it, and as a result they fell into the trap of haste and lost money unnecessarily. Investing is not about chasing trends or what's hot in the market. Investing is about betting on real value. You must evaluate, research, and study thoroughly before making a decision. Don't let emotions guide you. Greed is the greatest enemy of impatient investors. Never forget that investing is an exchange between the present and the future. You are trading what you have today to gain value in the future. And to achieve that, you must be patient, understand the market, and take calculated risks. Rushing in, buying when prices are high, just hoping to make a profit immediately is what will lead you to disaster. Investing is about long-term evaluation, not choices that provide instant gratification. I'm not saying you won't have the opportunity to make quick profits, but that's not the long-term goal. Those who are truly wealthy understand that wealth does not come overnight. They know that sustainability comes from solid, non-hasty investment decisions. Successful investors always seek long-term value opportunities, not running after fleeting events. We can't control the market, but we can control how we react to it. Patience is a valuable asset of a successful investor. Remember, Investing is not a race, it's a long-term strategy. When I look at the companies I've built and the investments I've made, I see that nothing was quick or easy. Every decision had to be carefully considered with a clear strategy and an assessment of risk. Investing is not just about winning right away, but about creating long-term and sustainable value. Those who are hasty are those who don't have enough time to research and understand what they're doing, and that's why they often fail. You can't look for an investment strategy that gives immediate results. The market isn't always favorable, and expecting success in a short time will only lead to disappointment. Instead, you should look for investment opportunities that you can commit to in the long term. When you understand the value of what you're investing in, you will feel confident and patient, waiting for the results. Wise investment decisions will naturally develop over time and provide sustainable value. If you want to succeed in investing, you need to learn to accept uncertainty. Impatience will lead you to make the wrong decisions, but patience will help you evaluate things more accurately. This doesn't mean you have to delay every decision, but you need to ensure that each decision is well thought out and has a long-term strategy. Investing is not about tomorrow, it's about the years ahead. So never let impatience control you. Remember, investing is a long-term strategy, and only those who are patient, have a plan, and can evaluate risks will succeed. When you understand this, you will see that financial freedom is not a quick destination, but the result of smart, strategic investment decisions. And that's the only way to truly achieve long-term financial success. True wealth is living according to your values. It is not the money you earn, the things you own, or the recognition from others. True wealth comes from knowing how to live in alignment with what you believe in, working with a purpose greater than yourself, and using your assets to create real value. When you live according to your values, you will not only have money, but you will also have a meaningful life and true freedom. Those who are truly wealthy are not the ones with the most money. They are the ones who know how to use money as a tool to serve deeper goals and values. Money is just a means, not the end. True wealth is not about owning a luxury car or an expensive house, but about the ability to do what you truly love, create value for society, and live a meaningful life. If you chase money without a clear goal and strong values, you will just keep running in an endless cycle. True wealth comes when you realize that money is just a tool to help you achieve what you believe in. Don't let society or others define your success. True success is not about what you can show off, but about what you create for the world. It is your contribution, the value you bring to the community, and how you use your time, money, and resources to change the lives of those around you. When you live according to your values, you not only find satisfaction in your work, but also bring positive change to others. That is true wealth. I always believe that to succeed, you must have an ideal greater than yourself. When you focus solely on yourself, on making money and accumulating wealth, you will never truly feel enough. But when you focus on building values, helping others, and creating change in the world, you will find that the sense of fulfillment and success will come naturally. At that point, wealth is no longer just the money you have, but how you live, how you contribute, and how you bring real value to society. True wealth is also the ability to control your life, to live freely without being bound by external pressures. When you live according to your values, you don't have to chase society's expectations or the success models others have set. You don't need to pursue external standards to feel happy. You don't need to own an expensive car or live in a lavish mansion to prove your worth. Your true value comes from what you contribute, from how you work with passion and noble goals. Throughout my career, I have always sought opportunities to make a big impact, to push the world forward. The wealth I have gained is not the result of working harder than others, but the result of always following what I believe in and consistently creating value for the world. True success comes from building things with a long-lasting impact, not just for yourself, but for society as well. And that is what I always pursue. Money is just the tool that helps me fulfill those big dreams. To live according to your values, you must learn to master yourself and realize that money is not the most important thing. The most important thing is that you feel free, live with purpose, and create real value for the world. When you do that, you not only create a successful life, but you also change the lives of others, and that is true wealth. True wealth is the result of living true to yourself, to what you believe in and what you contribute to this world. Money is just the means to achieve your goals, not the ultimate end. When you live according to your values, you will see that life is not just about money, but also about freedom, fulfillment, and deep joy. Finally, I want you to remember one important thing. True wealth is not something you can see with your eyes, but something you feel in your heart. It is the freedom, the satisfaction that comes from living according to your values. When you understand this, you will no longer chase after money. You will find true wealth in your journey, in each step you take, each decision you make, and in the values you bring to the world. That is the wealth that no one can take from you. Freedom is the result of discipline. There is no path to financial freedom that does not require discipline. You may have all the great ideas and plans, but if you don't have the discipline to implement them, everything will remain theory. Freedom is not something you can achieve overnight. It is the result of consistent decisions, good habits, and most importantly, self-control. Discipline is the foundation of all great success, especially in financial management. When I started building large projects, I realized that no amount of creativity or genius could replace discipline in work. Only with discipline can you maintain focus, keep working despite difficulties, and resist short-term temptations to achieve long-term goals. Financial freedom only comes when you can control negative habits and build good habits that bring you closer to your goal every day. I know many people who want to achieve financial freedom but lack the necessary discipline. They start with strong beliefs but easily get caught up in short-term decisions, consumer temptations, without thinking about the long term. You will never escape this cycle if you don't learn self-control. Discipline is a choice, persistence, the ability to suppress immediate desires to achieve long-term results. If you can't resist the urge to spend, if you can't patiently wait for the right investment opportunities, you will never escape financial strain. Discipline is not just about rejecting what you want immediately, it's about managing your time, effort, and resources effectively. To achieve financial freedom, you need a clear plan and to follow it every day. You can't let small issues, temporary mistakes, or spending temptations pull you away from your long-term goals. Every investment and financial strategy needs to be built on a consistent system of discipline. There's a famous saying I always remember, nothing worthwhile comes quickly. It's a powerful reminder that no sustainable results come without perseverance and long-term effort. True wealth only comes when you can build a solid financial foundation, not through risky ventures or quick money, but through slow, patient, and consistent growth. And to do that, you need self-control, persistence with a plan, and not letting temporary temptations distract you. I always say that one of the most important things in life is to set a long-term goal and then patiently pursue it every day. There is no freedom if you don't have the discipline to maintain that habit. And you must understand that every financial decision, no matter how small, impacts your financial freedom. Every time you miss an investment opportunity due to impatience, every time you choose to spend on something you don't really need, you slow down the process of achieving the freedom you desire. True freedom doesn't come from having money, it comes from being able to fully control your finances. This requires discipline. Remember, the price you pay to achieve financial freedom is not hard work, but giving up bad habits, letting go of immediate desires to achieve long-term goals. When you can manage yourself, control your spending, and build a stable financial system, freedom will come to you. To do this, you need to understand that discipline is an essential part of building sustainable wealth. It's not something you can learn overnight, but a habit that must be gradually cultivated, a decision you must commit to every day. Discipline is not a sacrifice, it is an investment in your future. When you begin to understand and apply discipline in managing finances, you will see your life change. You will no longer feel stressed when making financial decisions, and you will clearly see the path to financial freedom. I'm not saying that having discipline is easy, but if you truly desire freedom, if you truly want to achieve great financial goals, you must start with discipline. Freedom only comes when you can control what you do and know that every action you take impacts your future. And when you start living with discipline, you'll realize that financial freedom is not a destination, but a journey you go through every day.